I'm gonna show you how to build a statement of cash flows. And all you need is a bit of math that you already learned in 5th grade. Like this. We duplicate the balance sheet, take last period's assets minus this period's assets, this period's liabilities and owner's equity minus last period's liabilities and owner's equity, rearrange each row, and we're done. Did you catch that? All right, I'll break it all down for you. And if you're new to this channel, I'm Josh. I post content to help you grow in your career in finance and accounting. And creating a statement of cash flows is an extremely valuable skill to understand and is actually one of the easiest things you can do. You really just need to follow these 3 steps. And towards the end of this video, I'll show you some neat Excel shortcuts that you can use to make this a breeze. But before we go through these steps, let's do a refresher on how exactly the statement of cash flow works. This statement showcases how exactly your cash is increasing or decreasing from one period to another. And it can be prepared using either the direct method or the indirect method. The direct method shows your information like this. You can understand how much cash you received from customers, how much cash you paid to employees, or what you were paid for your loan. It's really easy to understand, but also really difficult to produce. So companies usually opt for the indirect method, which looks like this. We start with your net income, we add back depreciation and amortization, since those are non-cash activities from our P&L. Then we take the net change in each balance sheet account, other than retained earnings, accumulated depreciation, accumulated amortization, since those all pull from your P&L. So to generate this statement, you really just need your P&L and balance sheet. Now let's talk a bit about the logic behind this statement and how to read it. We start with net income at the top here. This means if we have no balances anywhere else on our balance sheet, whatever we show on our P&L will be whatever flows through into our cash flow statement. So this is our starting point. But if we have depreciation or amortization expense shown on our P&L, that's a non-cash expense. They just represent the theoretical wear and tear of our fixed assets like machinery and furniture. So we add it back over here. Now we get to our first balance sheet item, accounts receivable. If I enter in $4,000, you'll see that our cash flow statement shows negative $4,000. What does that mean? Well, this means that although we recorded $100,000 in consulting fees in this period, we only received $96,000 of that in cash. The rest is locked up in another asset called accounts receivable. And this is an important concept. Anytime we have an asset other than cash go up, that means instead of receiving cash, we got another asset. And from a cash flow perspective, this is bad. Now, I know that may be counterintuitive. Aren't assets good? Generally, yes, but if we're just analyzing cash, then any asset balance that goes up means we could have received cash, but instead got a different asset. And remember, the cash flow statement only cares about cash. And the same is true for liabilities and owner's equity, but in the opposite. Check out over here. I have $20,000 in G&A expense. If I have no balance sheet activity, that means I must have paid this balance. But if my accounts payable balance goes up by, let's say, $5,000, I know I didn't then actually pay the full amount. I held onto my cash, which will show as a positive cash impact on this statement. Then when I pay it next month, it'll show as a negative cash impact. The same for owner's equity. If I see an account like preferred stock go up in this section, say for $100,000, that means that I received cash as an investment, so that'll show a favorable cash impact. Okay, so that's the logic behind the cash flow statement. Now let's talk about the logic behind how to create one. I promised you that all you needed was 5th grade algebra to understand how to produce one. And here's what I mean. Recall that assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. This is known as the accounting equation, and as in essence means that any items of economic value that are in the business are owed to either creditors or owners of the business. But think about it. If assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity, that means that the net change in these accounts from one period to another must equal as well. Don't believe me? Here, have a look. As you can see, assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity for both of these periods over here. So if I take last period's balance and subtract out the period before that and do the same thing for my liabilities and owner's equity, you'll see that again, assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity, even though this is showing the net changes in those balances. Simple, right? Well, what if we switched it up so that my formula for assets were the reverse of the formula I used for my liabilities and owner's equity? Meaning, what if I took Q1's balance and subtracted out Q2's balance for my assets, but I kept my liabilities and owner's equity as Q2 minus Q1. Now, you'll see that if I sum my assets, liabilities, and owner's equity together, I'll actually get to 0. That makes sense because think about it. If A equals B plus C minus A plus B plus C equals 0. So to get to my cash flows amount, I just need to do this for every account other than cash, and then I'll be left with the plug like this. Okay, see this? This shows 48,500, which is the sum of the net change in my liabilities, owner's equity, and assets for all accounts other than cash. This is the plug. As you can see, our cash actually went up between Q1 and Q2 between 48,500. All right, now let's put this into action with 3 simple steps. Step 1, duplicate your balance sheet and wipe all of your values. This is going to make it really easy to apply our formulas from the balance sheet. Step 2, take last period minus this period for all assets other than cash, and then take this period minus last period for all liabilities and owner's equity. Okay, now I'm just going to unbold all of these values. Okay, now let's remove all of the total rows. So I'll hold down Control and I'll select all of these rows, press Control minus. And now I'll sum up all of these values. Okay, this is saying that I did 67,000 in cash flows, which matches between the difference in my cash balance between Q4 and Q3. Looks like it's working. Okay, now let's replace some of these balance sheet values with our income statement values. Those values that we need to replace are retained earnings, accumulated depreciation, and accumulated amortization. Now, majority of the time, the net changes in these accounts will be the exact values that you find on your income statement for this period, since these accounts are simply an accumulation of the values shown on your income statement. Retained earnings is an accumulation of net income. Accumulated depreciation is an accumulation of depreciation expense. Accumulated amortization is an accumulation of amortization expense. But you may have a weird exception, like if there was an audit adjustment of some sort. So just to be safe, we're going to take the values directly from the P&L. So I'll actually remove my retained earnings account over here, and I'll also remove my accumulated depreciation account. Let's add 2 rows. And let's say net income and then depreciation. Okay, I'm going to then set this directly on my P&L to my net income account over here. And I'm gonna do the minus for my depreciation because this is showing as a negative for an other expense. As such, awesome. Now we're ready for our final step 3, rearranging our accounts so we can present them correctly. Recall that the statement of cash flow breaks things down into 3 sections: cash from operating activities, cash from investing activities, and cash from financing activities. Cash from operating activities includes net income because your profit and loss showcases the net earnings from operating your business. We then want to group the changes in our current assets and current liabilities. Current assets are assets that are expected to be converted to cash within 12 months or less, while current liabilities are liabilities that we expect to pay within 12 months or less. The investing section showcases the net changes in your long-term and fixed assets. This relates to any cash that the business invests in for the long-term benefit, like buying a piece of machinery that'll be used for multiple periods or a long-term bond. But don't mix that up with amounts invested into the business. That's cash from financing activities. So any amounts invested into the business by the owners, any debt the business takes out, or any payments for that debt or distributions to the owners, that shows in this section. In other words, the changes from long-term liabilities and any equities account goes into the cash from financing activities section. So now for our last step, I want to rearrange all of these accounts and group them under these 3 sections as so. I'm going to start by sketching this out. I'll first go ahead and add a bunch of lines here again. I'll write cash from operating activities. I'll skip a line and then I'll write equals, quotations, total, space, quotations, ampersand, and then point to this over here. Perfect, my text just updated. Then I'll make my formula here just say the sum of these 2 cells. And let's drag that across. Now I'll do the same for the remaining sections of the statement of cash flows. So I'll highlight these rows, press Control C, come over here and then press Control plus. That inserts cut rows. Let's just change this over here to say investing. Now let's hold down Shift and space, Control C, come down, Shift and space, Control plus, and we'll change this to financing. Now I'll write total cash flows and I'll make that the sum of each of these. And I'll just drag that across. And let's just make this a little bigger. And I'll also just bold each of these over here so that we know that they're sections by pressing Control B. Okay, perfect. Now we want to rearrange each of our accounts into each of these sections, but we don't want to just copy and paste. If I do that, say I take this over here you'll see that it overwrites my formulas. Instead, I want to cut by pressing Control X and then paste as cut values. So I'll come over here and I'll press Control plus. That just pushed that empty cell down. That's perfect. And that's exactly what I want. So I'll come into the remaining current assets over here. I'll press Control X and go ahead and hit Control plus as such. Now let's do the same thing for our current liabilities. Control X, come in over here and hit Control plus. Okay, now we have all of our cash from operating activities section completed. Now let's do our cash from investing activities. So I'll take this information over here, Control X, and then I'll select here and I'll press Control plus. Cumulative amortization we actually don't need because that's not applicable. And I believe that that's all the cash from investing activities. Now let's do the same thing for the cash from financing activities. And I'll press Control plus, and then again, Control X and Control plus. Perfect. We can go ahead and now delete this. And now as you can see, we have our total cash flows, which shows 67,000. All I need to do is select all this information, press Control C, hold down Shift and hit the left arrow and press Control V. Now we can see our actual cash flows. Does it match? Well, let's do a check. I'll take this minus the difference between the cash between this period compared to last period. This will allow us to understand how our cash is actually growing. And look at that, the balances match. And now I'm done. So if I come in over here and add in $5,000 for, let's say, laptops and computers, you'll see that my statement of cash flow shows that cash outlay. The same is true for any of these other balances that I enter. I can show my accounts receivable growing to 8,000 over here, and it'll show again another 4,000 cash outlay. It's working. But creating a statement of cash flows involves a much more detailed understanding of how the financial statements connect. And this video over here goes into really deep detail on all of that. So just go ahead and click that. And in the meanwhile, let me know in the comments below, what questions do you have? And I'll catch you next time.